We're now going to look at evaluating a flipped classroom. Let's assume that we've done some good design and we want to see if it works. First question in framing our evaluation is, how useful is it in the SB context? Is it more effective than what we're doing now? In what ways? Interest, attainment levels? Then we're going to say, well, remember in evaluation that we want to judge the flipped classroom. What's the criteria? What are we going to look at? Is it that the criteria is the students are actually attaining better results, that they like it more, that we think the design's better? And how do we actually conduct it? What methods are we going to use? What information sources are we going to access? So we can make the best decisions about its use in SB. So let's move on then. What to evaluate? Well, teaching is a complex activity, and we can look at this activity in broad generic aspects. Is the flip experience well organised in terms of content? Have the activities that have been used interesting for students? Have we used a good range of presentation modes? Has the assessment approach been one that the students feel they've been getting effective feedback? But equally, we can look at very specific aspects. Did this particular intervention, this activity, for example, we use advanced organisers, or we're using a particular e-tool like Kahoot, and we want to see what kind of impact it has on a particular aspect of the learning process. But evaluation takes time, and we might not be able to do everything. So let's have a look. In the next slides, let's see what the areas of focus can be. Certainly, a key area is student attainment. We want to know if the students are learning better. However, to do this in the best ways in terms of traditional experimental design, we need experimental control groups, and to reduce the impact of confounding variables. And that's very problematic in educational research often. However, if we can't do that, then we can still focus very much on our students are performing on the programme outcomes. And if we do this properly, that's pretty useful information to obtain. Okay, so yeah, attainment is one area, but also we're interested in things like the student learning experience. Just because it's been successful, how does it work specifically to the particular method, e-tool combinations, presence of the tutor, etc. So let's have a look at the student learning experience. We're always interested in this because we don't just want to drag students through to get good grades. We also would like them to learn better, deeper learning, more meaningful learning, self-directed learners. So that's an important area to look at. And what specifically can we do? Okay. Invariably, if all align and the results are positive on the attainment and experience stakes, we're in great shape because students are learning well, they like it, we can start to make claims that what we're doing is good practice in flip. And here's a nice analogy. At the end of the day, if it looks like a bird, sounds like a bird, behaves like a bird, it's probably a bird. So if the flipped classroom is getting good results, the students like it, we're probably doing something right. So we just need to be very clear about what we're doing right, what we're not doing as well as possible, and just work on the improvement track. Okay, now, the design and use of curriculum materials. Now, we said earlier that good pedagogic design is important, so we can actually look at the lesson plans, look at the activities, look at how we're using this and say, are we doing this in a way that looks like it supports a learning process? And that's an important thing to do. Invariably, these are often mediated by the teacher, so we can have very good activities, very good lesson plan, but if the teacher's very poor, it's probably going to be a bit of a mess. However, it's an important thing to look at. And while many of these components are evaluated from actual student feedback, in other words, their perception of the organisation, the activities and the assessment, there is value in looking at it from an expert and an experienced peer perspective. In other words, as teaching professionals, what do we think about it? Do we think we're designing it well? Okay, final main area, and let's not negate this, that if the technical features of the online component are a mess, then it's a mess. There's no point in having really good videos if people can't play them or they're very frustrating. And this has been a big problem, certainly with online learning. There's a nice quote here I like. in a flipped classroom, a lot of the learning will, or we hope, happens online. And if it's not user-friendly, it's not going to work terribly well. So the idea is that it should have an intuitive navigation that immediately engages the students in meaningful contextualised activities. That's what we really want now. Okay.